You think you know your neighbors. You wave hello in the morning, share a smile in the grocery aisle, exchange the occasional small talk about the weather or neighborhood news. But what if the evil hiding behind the curtains next door is not a stranger at all? What if it is someone you trust, someone who wears the mask of normalcy so perfectly that their darkest deeds are unseen until it is far too late? The story of the McStay family in Fallbrook, California, is precisely that kind of haunting tale. Before we dive deep into the chilling details, hit like and subscribe to make sure you don't miss any part of this unraveling nightmare. In the quiet suburban town of Fallbrook, life seemed ordinary in early 2010. Joseph McStay was a man who worked hard. At 40 years old, he ran a modest but respected business repairing and selling refrigeration equipment. His wife, Summer, was a pillar of care and warmth, a mother devoted to their two boys, Michael and Gianni, ages 10 and 7 respectively. The family's life was simple and happy, or so it seemed on the surface. Neighbors recalled how the boys played in the front yard, how Summer would wave at passing cars and bake cookies that she shared generously. Joseph was known for his polite demeanor and work ethic. Together, they looked like a perfect picture of suburban bliss. Yet beneath that veneer, there were signs no one fully understood at the time. One cold morning in February, the McStays simply vanished. No farewell note, no phone calls, no sign that anything was amiss. As days turned into weeks, the silence grew louder. School attendance records showed Michael and Gianni hadn't been present for weeks. Joseph did not appear at work. Friends and family tried calling, knocking on the door, but there was no response. Their home was discovered unlocked and eerily still, yet there was no evidence of forced entry or struggle. The police launched a missing persons investigation, but with no immediate leads, the case began to stall. Time is often the enemy in such cases. Memories fade, evidence dissipates, and hope diminishes. Fallbrook, a town accustomed to peace, began to feel its unsettling pulse. Where had the McStays gone? Had they run away? Were they victims of foul play? Nearly 4 years later, the terrible answer came in the form of a grim discovery. In November 2013, hikers near Victorville, a desolate stretch of the Mojave Desert about 140 miles from Fallbrook, stumbled upon what no one wanted to find: 4 bodies buried beneath the earth, wrapped tightly in plastic. The FBI quickly took over the case. DNA testing confirmed the bodies were those of Joseph, Summer, Michael, and Gianni McStay. The community was shattered. The idyllic family had been murdered, their lives brutally taken and buried in the unforgiving desert. What followed was a complex and labyrinthine investigation that would expose not only the tragedy of the McStay family, but also the hidden fissures of trust, jealousy, and desperation that rotted beneath their lives. Joseph's business was found to be under financial strain. Rumors circulated that he owed money to creditors and was entangled in questionable deals. Yet those closest to him insisted Joseph was a man of integrity, determined to keep his family afloat against all odds. Summer had confided in friends that she was worried about Joseph's safety. Still, she remained tight-lipped, revealing little to anyone, perhaps out of fear or loyalty. The boys were innocent bystanders, unaware of the turmoil that had engulfed their lives. Among the first clues was Joseph S.'s last known phone call, to a number traced to Charles Chase Merritt. Merritt was Joseph's former business partner and had a criminal record that included violent offenses. Naturally, suspicion fell heavily on Merritt. Authorities arrested Merritt, accusing him of orchestrating the murders over financial disputes. But Merritt maintained his innocence. He acknowledged owing the McStays money, but vehemently denied any involvement in their deaths. As the investigation dragged on, the truth became more elusive. Witnesses gave conflicting statements. Some claimed to have seen unknown people near the McStay home. Others remembered overhearing arguments or threats. Despite extensive searching, no direct evidence tied Merritt to the crime scene. The defense team aggressively challenged the prosecution's case, highlighting gaps and inconsistencies. Psychological experts analyzing the case suggested that the killer was someone with intimate knowledge of the McStay family's habits and routines. This was not a random act of violence, but something closer. Someone trusted who knew their lives in detail. The savagery of the murders hinted at deep-seated rage or perhaps desperation. The question loomed, was this a crime born of passion or cold calculation? Then the investigation took a stunning turn. Surveillance footage emerged, showing Joseph and Summer alive several days after the date they were believed to have vanished. The timeline, once thought fixed, now lay in ruins. Had the family staged their disappearance? If so, why? And if not, who was the real victim? Police were forced to reconsider everything. As the investigation peeled back layers of secrecy, it became clear that the McStays' lives were far more complicated than anyone had imagined. Financial troubles weighed heavily on Joseph. Summer feared for their safety, but said nothing. Their once solid marriage showed signs of strain. The boys remained innocent, but caught in the crossfire of adult fears and lies. Hidden emails and communications revealed that someone close to the family had orchestrated a plan that went beyond money and debt. The motive was personal. The investigation turned inward toward family, friends, and business associates. The community fractured. Suspicion divided neighbors. Long-standing relationships cracked under the pressure of fear and distrust. When Merritt finally went on trial, the courtroom was a stage for the drama of the case. The prosecution laid out a portrait of Merritt as a cold-blooded killer, motivated by greed. The defense painted him as a scapegoat, emphasizing the lack of physical evidence and highlighting alternative suspects. New forensic evidence surfaced, including GPS data linked to a vehicle registered to a close family friend, someone with access to the McStay property and a questionable alibi. Suspicions multiplied, alliances fractured, and the jury was left to decide a case clouded in uncertainty. Whispers of jury tampering and hidden evidence further threatened to unravel the trial. Verdict day approached with heavy anticipation. Then a bombshell. Just before the verdict, the court learned of a new witness who had been afraid to speak. This witness saw a suspicious figure near the McStay home the night of their disappearance, not Merritt. The judge halted proceedings. Merritt was released on bail, and the investigation reopened. Police shifted their focus to a man with a violent past, a tangled history with Joseph, and a dark, hidden motive. For weeks, detectives uncovered lies, inconsistencies, and evidence tampering. The confession tape's voice was conclusively matched to this man. As the man vanished, a nationwide manhunt ensued. Weeks later, investigators discovered a hidden room in his home containing evidence directly linking him to the murders. His arrest brought months of terror to a close. In court, the suspect confessed to a calculated and brutal murder, motivated by jealousy and desperation for control. The McStay family finally received justice. In court, the suspect confessed to a calculated and brutal murder, motivated by jealousy and desperation for control. The McStay family finally received justice. Though the trial ended, the scars on the family and the town remained deep. The unseen evil had been revealed, but the wounds it left behind serve as a chilling reminder that sometimes the darkest monsters wear the faces we trust most. If this story gripped you, please share this video and hit the bell icon to never miss an episode that dives deep into humanity's darkest truths. Thank you for joining me to uncover the unseen evil, the case of the brutal murder of the McStay family. Remember, the most terrifying monsters are often hiding in plain sight.